Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Homeology podcast, a weekly conversation with your HVAC team here at Vertex Mechanical. We hope you'll laugh with us, maybe learn something new, and be inspired. Let's celebrate the Vertex Award ceremony today.
Okay.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm Josh.
And I'm Vince.
And we're glad to hang out with you again here for a little bit today with our special awards ceremony, which you didn't know that you were coming to, but we're glad you decided to tune in. I understand awards ceremonies are kind of like on their decline. Right? I can't tell you the last time I watched an awards ceremony. Maybe CMTs.
Oh, wow. Yeah, see, it's been
CMAs,
a really long time for
right?
me. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, not my thing either. But there's 3 awards sitting in front of us. We thought we have to at least share with you about these fantastic awards. Vince and some of the team here made their way to a conference just back at the beginning of January.
Yeah,
when it was.
Yep, down in Nashville.
Right. And came back with 2 awards, then another recent addition. And I thought, man, we at least have to share this exciting news. The first one is this Silver Dealer Award, which silver is kind of like,
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
But
First loser, I think they call that.
That's exactly what it is. But then that is the legit first winner. And this is Dealer of the Year Award for Goodman Air Conditioning. And that actually is for what?
Well, I'm not even exactly sure other than the fact that we outperformed last year.
Yeah.
Better than anybody else, apparently. So,
well, I asked our dealer rep, because he came the other week, and I said, is this the award for the best new HVAC podcast? And he said, no, but would you like one? I was like, yeah, I would. What do we have to do over the next year to get an award for that? But this is for greatest growth within that specific brand of HVAC equipment. So congratulations, Vince.
Yeah.
You did it.
Exciting. Yeah.
And apparently you did something else. Because just last week, we add to now Vince has a little trophy collection downstairs. You might not know that. He's got a little trophy collection. There's a lot of baseballs included in that. I don't know if you call them trophies, but there's some special things. And this has made it to the shelf of treasured items. And this is a unique award for Vince only. Vince, tell us about that one.
All right. So a few years ago, actually last year, went on a fishing trip and out of Ocean City, Maryland, and I didn't realize this.
Fishing capital of the East.
That's right. And they're big on the marlin. And anyway, we were out for tuna, but I just happened to hook into a white marlin. We brought it in. It was all fine and good. Got some pictures. It was all good. As we're coming back to the dock, though, we're flying the little white marlin flag, and guys come over to the boat and they're like, "You caught a marlin? This is October. There's no marlin around." Well, apparently, and even my captain didn't know this, but there's an award for the last marlin caught out of Ocean City, Maryland.
Amazing.
And I took it.
You are a champion.
Whew!
You are a champion fisherman.
My first marlin
People
and my first trophy. Now, this isn't the big trophy that everybody likes to have at the Marlin Open, which usually is worth like $5 million.
Oh, my word.
But I'm okay with this.
We're okay with this.
Yeah, I think. It's plastic. It's got a plaque.
It does have a plaque.
It
and it's
says,
shiny. It's gold. This is like a giant gemstone there.
I believe that's what
it's pretty sharp.
It's sharp.
It is very sharp. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
You add that to your list of accolades.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I mean, wow, I got this like almost a year later. Didn't realize. Yeah, anyway.
Well, I thought you were going to receive an award for your 20th anniversary. And instead, you get an award for catching a fish.
Yeah.
But it's still impressive. So well done.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. Not nonsensical things here that we can chat about.
Oh, my gosh.
What we do want to talk about, though, today on the podcast, in addition to our special awards, is the fact that it's been pretty epically cold.
Yeah, right?
Do you know I saw for the very first time recently, and maybe it's just because I'm young-ish. Am I still allowed to say that? 41-ish?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, great. I saw just a few weeks ago, because it has been super cold here in the Northeast, and I saw for the very first time in my life Amish teams out cutting ice on ponds that were, obviously thick ice, and they were throwing them into, ice sheds to use, all summer. We saw them on all of their teams. They're pulling out. I had never seen that before, which it feels like a really old-timey thing, right? But that just gives you an indication of how cold it's been in the Northeast this winter. And what does that impact most, Vince?
Wow. Heating bills.
Heating bills.
Yes, it does.
For sure. I noticed even that here at Vertex in our office, why we have some new weather stripping on some of our doors.
That's right.
Because it's just been blowing in. It's been super cold.
Yep.
So what are you seeing? What counsel do you have? Because people are experiencing it. It's been pretty hard.
Right. Well, a couple things I'll say to that. And the first one is obviously when it gets this cold, people that are utilizing heat pumps. It's been a few years here in Pennsylvania since we've seen the amount of runtime on auxiliary heat as we're seeing this year.
Yeah.
So we are getting lots of phone calls, especially obviously we can kind of tell when utility bills go out.
That's right.
Because we'll all of a sudden get inundated with phone calls like, hey, I think my system's not working right. My utility bill's up, 20-30% this month. Yeah, and my answer to that is, hey, I'll save you at least the service call because that's probably just runtime on your auxiliary heat. Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of that. The gas and the fossil fuel side of things, they'll see an uptick too, but it's not nearly as significant as the electric side because heat pumps run so efficiently when they're running.
Yep.
But then when they need that bank in there to help out, it just jacks it.
Yeah, so you might be experiencing some of that, and as Vince just shared, we get that you're kind of perplexed initially. Good chance, however, that it's not a system issue or system concern. Yeah. Your system actually doing what it needs to do. It just kicked into its auxiliary. And we'll get through that here in a couple of weeks, but we felt the pain of it.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's difficult when you're talking to that person on the phone. You don't want to assume that there's no problem. And then next month they're calling again and, oh, you actually did have a problem. Sorry about that. So, we're kind of always trying to help them in that, work our way through that. Is it the right thing to do or not the right thing? One thing I'll say, though, I'll just throw another plug out there. I know we've talked about thermostats in the past.
Yep.
But the one thing that I love about most of our customers have EQB thermostats. That's what we push. But the thing I love the most about it is if they give me the login information, I can go right online.
Right.
I can actually see the weather data. I can see what temperature they have the house set for. I can see if they're moving the thermostat. And I can see how much runtime that auxiliary heat has on. And from that, I can actually determine whether or not we may have a problem or not.
Right. Correct.
Now, 9 times out of 10, we're saying, hey, wow, it's just really cold.
Yeah.
And that's just it's actually performing as good as we can see based upon that information.
Yeah, so that is a great tool that you can use, and you actually have at your disposal if you have an Ecobee sitting there. If you don't, it would still be to your benefit to kind of become aware of, hey, is my auxiliary kicking on, and be mindful of that, so that if you do call us, we'll probably ask you some questions about that right now and ask, well, what are you observing is taking place with your system, and is your auxiliary heat kicking on regularly? I remember you talked a little bit recently too about you're not concerned when the outdoor unit is running consistently.
Right.
Just define that one more time for us, because we're probably seeing that a lot right now.
Yeah, most homes have here in Lancaster County are probably hitting a balance point, and a balance point is the amount of heat or the amount of heat that a heat pump's making versus how fast the house is losing the heat. That's the balance point.
Yep.
A lot of our balance points are usually in the mid 30s.
Yeah.
And so if it drops below 30, that's when we're going to be looking for that extra help. But that does mean that at that point, your heat pump is running nonstop. 24/7.
Yeah.
Now, that concerns a lot of people. They think that, oh, that's why my utility bill's up.
Sure.
It actually isn't. Once that compressor's up and running and it keeps running, it's a lot like that hybrid car on the highway. It's just up. Once the momentum is going, it doesn't take a lot of energy to keep it going. So that's not our concern. It's always how much that auxiliary heat's coming on. Another thing I'll say, too, is another piece of advice. This is probably the most important advice I can give somebody. Do not set your thermostats back when it's this cold. That recovery, if you're trying to save a couple bucks overnight because you want it 5 degrees colder in your house, the next morning when you turn that thing up, number one, it's going to take some time.
Sure is.
It takes every amount of energy that thing's going to make, and your utility bill is going to go through the roof.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, I will say this. One of the things that you might want to be mindful of, especially in your outdoor units, we've had a lot of ice and a lot of freezing rain. And I know that I've experienced actually on my outdoor unit previously where that freezing rain actually impacted the mower, the blower motor that was in there.
Yeah.
Do you see that often, Vince? Or have you seen it this year even maybe?
Well, we do, because keep in mind, your outdoor units are generally running several degrees colder than outside air. So if it's like sitting right around that freezing mark, your unit's already well into the 20s. Yeah. So any amount of moisture that's in the air, it might not be frozen as it's coming down, but as it hits your unit, it's going to freeze. So that fan that's inside there, everything there's below freezing.
Yeah.
And that ice buildup will definitely make an impact on how well the unit's running.
So just be mindful of that, especially when we're in these times when there's rain and freezing rain. Keep an open ear and listen and be aware of that, because that might be an issue that you could experience.
Yeah.
It's not a fun one. So last thing here, Vince, we've been talking all year thus far, and we'll continue, is you just crossed a threshold here just last week. Nate and I talked about it last week, of 20-year anniversary. We're just starting the celebrations, really. We're going to celebrate all year long. But I thought, hey, let's give you an opportunity just to give a shout out to somebody, nobody in particular that I had in mind. Because there is someone that this would not have been possible without.
Absolutely. I mean, my dad has been a very influential part of who I am. He wasn't one to have a big vision for growing something. It's where I kind of came in on the play. But, still, at the age of 11, getting started in understanding how mechanics work and how things do go together was a big piece of getting me to where I was and then creating what we've created today. So absolutely, it was an awesome ride.
Yeah.
I sometimes look back and I'm not sure I'd want to take that same path that I've gotten to get here, but we took it. We're here.
Well, you have been on quite a journey, and no doubt your dad, Ray, has contributed to so much of the joy in that and so much of the fun. Just yesterday, actually, all of a sudden, out the window behind me, I hear this large kind of clanging noise, and I mean large. But I was busy focusing on something else. I didn't know what was going on. Do you know what it was?
I have
no
idea.
There once was a steel pole in the drive
coming driveway that came down yesterday.
And he'd been out grinding, and I guess in the background I heard it, but I really heard when that post just came slam down, and I look out, there's Ray, because Ray can be found just anywhere at any time, doing anything,
just about anything,
exactly. Has he caught a marlin?
No. In fact, no, he doesn't like going deep in the boats. No, it's not his thing. Not anymore, anyway. He used to, but
we'll have to come up with a trophy to celebrate Ray, I think. Well, anyway, Vince, thank you so much for sharing a little bit here today. Congratulations on your awards. Congratulations on 20 years.
Thank you.
And coming up, we'll have a couple podcasts to talk about some of the fun activities we got planned here for our 20th anniversary celebration, including some events in May in particular, which we're excited to share about. They're going to be great.
Yep.
Until then, try to stay warm. And we hope that we'll see you again on next week's podcast. Have a great rest of your week.
See you later.
Hey, thanks again for joining us today. As always, we hope you enjoyed your time with us and you'll return again next week. And if you need to get a hold of us, just visit vertex-mechanical.com to call or email.